Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of... Whoa, as my microphone goes all crazy. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album War. Today we've got two pretty cool albums here, both double disc sets. Well, actually, hold on. One originally a double disc set, the other not, but then basically turned into a double disc set with the release of the special edition CD. Okay, both of these bands from New York. Both were recorded in 1977. One released at the tail end of 77. The other released in 1978. Of course, we're talking about Kiss Alive 2. Okay, it follows up the legendary Kiss Alive. All right, and then we've got Blue Oyster Cult, Some Enchanted Evening. All right. I was a big fan of both of these when I was growing up. I still dig them both, right? Pretty cool albums. Two pretty important bands to the heavy rock scene of the East Coast in the United States of America, specifically the New York area. Let's take a look at each one, why don't we? So this particular bad boy right here, okay, again, like I said, recorded at various different shows in 1977. At the end, we've got tacked on some studio tracks that they recorded specifically for the album. I know there's all sorts of, rumors and info going out there that, again, as with Kiss Alive, a lot of the live portion of the album was doctored up in the studio, whatever. Is what it is, right? I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but it's a live album. Okay, regardless of how much of it is actually live, that remains to be seen. But a good set. I remember getting this back in the day, and this was a great LP to get because you had all the live shots. You open it all up, the big gatefold, all these great photos and crap all over the place. Of course, Kiss. This was Kiss at the height of their powers. The set kicks off with Detroit Rock City. Great on here. There's some really good renditions of some of their studio classics from the albums they released after the first Alive album. That's the good thing about Kiss Alive and Kiss Alive 2 is that you don't have any repeat of material, right? Kiss Alive got live versions of tracks from their first couple albums, and then this has live tracks from the albums released since the first live album. So Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, okay, two great songs from Destroyer. Performed great on here. Then you got Ladies Room, okay, Making Love, and then a Spirited Love Gun, of course, from the other big album at the time of theirs. You got Destroyer, Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over. That's basically what we're covering here. On side 2 of the vinyl, okay, or side B, you've got Calling Dr. Love. Much better than the studio version, I think. Christine 16, never a big fan of that song. It's kind of silly. Shock Me. Probably the highlight of the album here. That's your first lead vocal by Ace Frehley on a Kiss album, okay, or on a live album specifically here. Sang it on the studio version as well. Got a nice long guitar solo on there. Very, very cool. Hard Luck Woman, sung by Peter Criss, with all the crowd piped in the background. Tomorrow and Tonight, all right, kind of a bland rocker, but whatever, it is what it is. Side 3, you got a pretty furious version of I Stole Your Love, another one of the highlights on here. Then you got Beth with Peter Criss again at the mic singing their smash hit. All right. I always thought that the live version, just with the ridiculous amount of, piped in crowd noises, was kind of a little ridiculous. God of Thunder is awesome on here. Heavy, okay? You could just kind of picture it. God of Thunder almost needs the visual, of Gene up in the rafters with the blood spewing all over the place, coming down, cranking into this tune. But God of Thunder is great on here. Another one of my favorite tunes on here. I Want You, Baby, 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 Want You. Another really good version on here. And then finishing off the live portion with Shout It Out Loud, which I think is really good on here. Really, really good. And then over on side 4, or side D of the LP, you've got the studio tracks, which for my money, not very good. All American Man, that's not too bad. Rockin' in the USA, I could do without. Larger Than Life, it's okay. Rocket Ride is my favorite out of all of them by far, and I think that's one of my favorite Ace Frehley tunes of all time. I really dig Rocket Ride a lot. Love the guitar riffs on it. Love the vocals. Got a great vibe. Really, really cool. And then you've got a remake of the Dave Clark Five's Any Way You Want It. I could do without that, to be honest with you. All right, so let's move over. And by the way, this sold millions and millions and millions of copies. A huge, huge hit for the band. On to this beast, okay? Originally released as just a single LP with, 7 songs, okay? Clearly lacking. Good stuff, clearly lacking, but I am going to talk about the reissue, the expanded or deluxe, whatever it's called, the Legacy Edition. I actually put this in the wrong way. You should be able to see that. It's got this little protective plastic sleeve here. Okay. Be nice if I put it away the correct way, right? Yeah, the Legacy Edition. Okay. As you can see on the bottom. So what do we got? Kicking off with Are You Ready to Rock? And again, this was recorded between December 31st, 77 through June of 78, released later that year in September of 78. Okay. Are You Ready to Rock? Kicks it off. Kind of a fun tune, not a serious Blue Oyster Cult song, but, kind of decent. And then we go to ETI, Extraterrestrial Intelligence, kick ass on here. Then, of course, the ultimate version of Astronomy. Doesn't get any better than the version on this, in my opinion. That is worth price of admission alone, right there. Okay, then we've got Kick Out the Jams. Okay, they're pretty good version of a MC5 classic. Then what else we got here? Then Godzilla. Godzilla's pretty spirited on here. I like it. I dig it. Then you got Don't Fear the Reaper. Again, depends on how much you love that tune, how many times you've already heard it, but it's a good version, very good version. Then We Gotta Get Out of This Place, another cover tune. So probably, a couple cover tunes, right? All in all, then that's the original LP right there. Half of it, damn good. The other half, okay, cool, but I would have rather have heard some, other BOC classics. But because this album was released not too long after On Your Feet, On Your Knees, they probably didn't want to, have a lot of the same tunes on both albums, which I get. Okay, but then when you got the reissue, it puts back basically everything that they played on that tour. And that's when all of a sudden this becomes the killer live album that it always should have been. So then we've got, I'm going to put on my glasses, guys, because a little dark here. We've got ME 262, one of my favorite BOC songs, performed impeccably here. Harvester of Eyes, killer. Okay, Hot Rails to Hell, killer. All right, This Ain't the Summer of Love, killer. What else? 5 guitars, little jam, right? Then you got Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf, and then another alternate version of We Gotta Get Out of This Place, okay? So, for my money, and then of course you got a bonus DVD which has like some kind of shoddy, bootleg video footage of the band from that tour, but still really cool because there's really not a lot of video footage of the band from the 70s available anyway. So that was well worth getting this just for that. But for my money, you have some absolutely rip-roaring, kick-ass versions of some BOC classics on here. But you got to get the deluxe edition to get all that, right? Because if we were to do just the original releases, okay, Kiss wins this by a mile, in my opinion. Because I think while the original single LP release is really good, fairly strong, it's just missing so much. It's just so lacking. But when you put all this extra stuff on here and make this the double album it was always meant to be, for me, no contest then, because those extra tracks makes this rise above Kiss Alive. And I've always liked Kiss Alive too, okay? But I'm a much bigger fan of the original Kiss Alive. And quite frankly, the most of the studio tracks on here, blah, but we're judging on its live merits. Some stellar versions of some of their great tunes from that time period. But I just think, for me, a lot of the Kiss material from those albums, not quite as strong as those first 3 albums, okay? And I just think that the first Kiss Alive has better performances. This seems to me, kind of glitzy and a little too much sheen, perhaps a little too much touching up in the studio. Some great stuff on here, don't get me wrong. I love this album, I do. But I think I'm going to give this one to Blue Oyster Cult. Again, if we're judging on the releases I have, okay? If we were judging on the regular, original releases, I would give this to Kiss. But I'm going to go with this special edition, the full 2 LP set it was always meant to be, with all the bonus stuff on here. This, in my opinion, is just a better all-around listen. Okay? While this is really strong, I honestly don't listen to this much anymore. Okay? I mean, I do it on occasion, but I grab for this much more often than I grab for this. Just because I think, some of the song selections on here could have been better on the live stuff. You got a couple of the ballads, it's just some of the tunes, I would have liked to hear other stuff. All right. There's other stuff off of Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over, and Destroyer that could have been on here, with the exception, I know you got to have Beth on there. But, come on. What else we got in here? Hard Luck Woman, I know it was kind of a minor hit, but whatever. Christine 16, I know is popular with the fans, but I was never big on that. But some good stuff on here. Ladies' Room is cool. I don't know. I just, for me, I think the fact that you got a full side of the LP with some kind of crappy studio tracks other than, Rocket Ride, the others I can do without. And then, a couple of questionable inclusions. I think this could have been a stronger. I mean, quite frankly, I would have rather had them had side 4 of the LP, additional live tunes, even if it was live songs that were already on Kiss Alive, because they played them live, right? I would have been okay with that. Would have made this a stronger album, I think. And this, obviously, like I just said, pretty strong on its own in its original release, but I think with this reissue, all the much more better. Still, when we're talking Blue Oyster Cult, I reach for On Your Feet or On Your Knees and Extraterrestrial Live more than I reach for this one. For me, out of their 3 I know they've got more, but out of their 3 classic live albums, this is probably my least favorite of the 3. But like I said, the reissue here, pretty tough to beat, pretty damn good, right? If for Astronomy alone and ME262, Harvester Revise, and, a couple other tracks, just, ETI. Great on here. Really, really good on here. Probably a couple less covers maybe would have been better. They certainly had plenty of material, right? I don't know why, some of these bands always played so many covers. It's like, well, it's cool hearing them do the MC5 and, Steppenwolf and what have you. It's like, come on. You have better tunes in your repertoire, guys, than some of those tunes. So anyway, that's my choice today. I'm going to go with a unanimous decision for Blue Oyster Cult, Some Enchanted Evening. It's pretty close, though. It's pretty close. Like I said, I grew up a huge Kiss fan. I still love Kiss, but I'm going to give the nod to BOC on this one. I feel it in my bones that where I'm at today, I like this album a little bit better. I still dig this a lot, though. It means a lot to me. I got a lot of history. I have a lot more history with this, but my heart is telling me Blue Oyster Cult is kind of where it's at here in this particular one. But you guys, your opinion may vary. Make sure you go. I was gonna say go up here and that little circle with the eye in it, but it's actually, when you guys see the video, it's actually up here. So if I go right here, you're gonna see a little white circle with an eye. Click on that. You'll see an option for Kiss or Blue Oyster Cult. Pick your favorite. You can also go on our Facebook page and vote there. In 6 days, I'm going to cut off the voting. We're going to do the count, and whichever one wins out of the 2 goes on to round 2, because ultimately we are trying to crown your favorite live album of all time. That's the purpose of this whole thing. The main point is just to talk about some cool live albums and hopefully get some of you to go and listen to them again. If you haven't heard them in a while, if you haven't heard them at all the more reason to dive in and go check them out, because that's kind of, we just love talking about and appreciating music here. So that's really the ultimate goal. But everybody loves live albums so much, we figured wouldn't it be fun to do a tournament and find out what your favorite live album is of all time. So that's the end goal. Probably not going to get to that point because we still got to get through the first round, then the second round, and so on and so forth. So we're probably looking at the holidays before we finally finish up with this and figure out what is your favorite live album of all time. And then we're going to do a show totally on that live album. We're just going to talk about that for 15, 20 minutes. So anyway, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. The dogs are barking. And, of course, we're here on YouTube every day. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning with more classic live album wars. Have a good one, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.